Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Gatling, and you know who I am. In Rise of Kingdoms, we're going through the history of BLO. Now, BLO is a very old alliance. We've been around since pre-KVK. Now, you might be like, why are we observing Kingdom 3532? We'll get there. Let us begin back when it started. Now, when BLO was created, we weren't originally called BLO. We were called TBF, which would technically become BLA at some point in the future. TBF was called the Blazing Flame, and as you can see, we were kind of one of the oldest alliances. Technically, this is in order, so let us start. TBF had a fort, and technically, no, never mind, it didn't have a fort. I got it wrong. Basically, wanted to build, and we wanted to build right here. No joke. We wanted to build a fort right here to take this passage. Ugh. Well, later on, we woke up approximately a week later. Now, the R4s weren't as strong and peak as they are now. We didn't have Chuck, we didn't have Alec, we didn't have Bloxy, but we had what technically remained. We had Toby, Littles, Gizmo, Whitern, Buttons, Peashooter, aka Mike. That was literally all our R4s at that time, generally. Till one day we woke up to see a green outline around us. Now, we had finally were basically confronted by an alliance. This alliance would be later on called IGA. IGA is a Russian alliance in Kingdom 3532. They basically jumped on top of our area knowing that we were active and basically gave us two choices. Join them and help them build that fort, or we get zeroed. Yeah, we were basically forced into building their fort. After we did, he kicked us all out, zeroed who didn't build that fort, and basically would target TBF until one fateful day. Now, where BLA's main fort is literally where TBF was born. TBF would jump up here, build a fort, while IGA was down here. IGA's main fort was here, and it was beginning to invade another alliance. Another alliance that was nearby was called the Shadow Legion, guys. We tried to be allies with them, and we had another alliance that would later on become VFA, now VFN, and then PvP6. That was our other enemy. Later on, after TBF had conquered a little bit, we had destroyed GPF. JPF was an inactive alliance, but we still got a little bit of a quick kill, which led us to get this territory and this territory. Now, we had another alliance up here, which was the second kill of TBF's whole era. RO41. RO41, this isn't the first time we've seen him. Oh my lord. I don't know if it's recording and I'm gonna get so pissed. Whew, thank God I had to do that. Okay. So we had destroyed RO41. We had a fight, and basically we were fighting over here. They kept pushing us down, but TBF, come on, the Blazing Flame, we kind of pushed through. This is when I think we started to meet another friend of ours. We met two new people, Nasty Chuck and Knowhow. Chuck, I know damn well you're gonna watch this and you're gonna be like fucking drooling. After we had finally conquered RO41, a new conflict kind of appeared. We hadn't pushed down here. IGA had this and all the way down to that passage, and TBF had a goal. But TBF later on upgraded. We changed our name to the Blazing Spartans. We had a Spartan type way of life, and basically without the gay shit. But we continued doing what we do best. We were a very warrior based alliance, and anyone that joined us was prisoners of war, depending on what alliance they were initially at. IGA hated the fact we had taken this, and we took it approximately pretty quick. Now, the new alliance had finally came in and took King. Now, this isn't the King alliance, but they kind of act like it, and I will expose them later on. The VF Empire had taken all of Zone 3, and several VF alliances were scattered around. Now, there's a YouTuber who did a video, which I'm going to go find, and I will post in my bio, or not my bio, the video's bio. As you can see, IGA's right here. And there was a civil war already starting in Zone 2 between two VF alliance families. I think it was like VFC was already here. And TBF has already made it down here. IGA hated that and basically hired VFA, which is now gone, to basically zero us. And this was already in KVK, or pre-KVK. That was almost 4 months into TBF's becoming TBS. After we beat IGA, we started to push them down, and me, Chuck, Knowhow, oh, dude, we were doing some damage to the Russians. We had pushed them all the way to this level 2 altar, which we didn't claim until recently. They had finally lost. Legal speed was now getting turned on by the VF Empire, and the VF Empire had every zone. So trying to make it like an alliance meant for your safety, that was so unlikely. You'd get zeroed. It didn't matter when, where, why, you'd get zeroed. Then we had finally beat IGA, and we had beat them right at the spot that we wanted. We basically told the new leader of IGA to delete the fort, and he did. But we didn't let him delete it before he burnt it, and that's what made the Blazing Spartans become feared by most alliances at this time. KVK 1 rolls around. We had lost Zone 1 pretty quick. VF had finally got another rogue alliance that would become VFF that came over here and took this area. This was before BLO even bothered to conquer. And after we had taken out IGA, we began to pretty much separate. We had 2 new R4s, Knowhow, Goat, Karma, and Chuck. And then we got Bloxy. Bloxy came around just as equally as they did, and he was pretty good. We basically continued, and no, don't join him. We began to split into 2 different groups. TBS was meant to take one area, and BLO was forming. This was to basically make a group called the NC Coalition. Now, the new conglomerate, which is what we were called, had several alliances as part of it. We are Enzo, VFF, BLO, and TBS. And now we had GP1, GS, Squiggly, which became CL, and we basically held pretty much every zone except one, which was Nogrod and I think Spirit. I think we didn't have access to this at this time. And we pretty much would be strong. Well, VF had conquered Kaio, and Kaio became VFN. VFA became VFN, and so did TBS. We became another VN, and BLO would become VFP, lowercase p. BLO would later on fight for its freedom and become the first alliance to ever leave the VF Empire. And VF noticed that, and we were in this zone right here. TBS had suddenly gone inactive because, you know, when I'm not leader, the alliance just doesn't feel like holding itself together. So BLO had become the new NC coalition leader. Afterwards, BLO continued to do several things. If you haven't seen my videos, we did a video against, what was it? It was some alliance, and it was in this Revidel. We had taken out multiple alliances. TBS was in the same fort, which, if you want, we could always look at those videos. Now, BLO was made in November, so it was kinda technically TBF, TBS. It still continued. And then we had dropped down here. Now, KVK 3 rolls around. Sig now takes control over the kingdom, over Ariel's corpse. Yeah, Ariel was scared because we had gone into this zone, and he knew we were going to come in and take him out. VFP, the weakest alliance ever, would also come around and had joined BLO into becoming BLE. Now, Alec Plays was now the newest R4 to the BLO family. Ghost would later on quit the game, and Knowhow migrated. And I haven't spoken to him since. I don't think he's coming back. Now, all the R4s now looked up to me. Ooh. Now, Sig had taken control of Zone 3s. Now, they made 2 farms, Sick and Saya. And all these other alliances that, like W32, CL, Kaio joined them, 32HG, they all become corrupt. And this was after Cat. But Cat was a great leader. He generally helped BLO and actually wanted us nearby. But we were not allowed to have the territory Sick has. So Sick had all the way up to this passage. BLO was not allowed to have that anymore. So we moved down here and took this corner of Zone 2. We had this Zone 2. we pretty much like held on to 2 zone 2s. So if any civil war happened, we could just flank. Then Cat started to take something from mgmu, which was an NC coalition member. I won't lie, I did not care for mgmu. I still don't. mgmu had lost this in about a day. It was farms against like strong users, and somehow the strong users lost against the farms. So BLO just starts zeroing them, starts taking this passage. We start like coming around, and we had taken over mgmu's territory to now they're just this. We fought VFF, which they're gone. And now the NC coalition was just down to BLO, BLA, BLE, and then we are. CL would join us, but CL's just, you know, SIG. After Cat, KVK4 rolls around, and Meepo takes control over him, SIG, making it more corrupted than the VF Empire was. This SIG Empire had become to the point where if you were even non-SIG, you would get zeroed. BLO had to stay pretty much in Zone 2 just to stay alive. While Meepo and Shanks were horrible kings, and basically were trying to help mgmu take us out. Yeah, I wonder how that went. Like, you guys saw the videos, I pretty much beat the shit out of them, I'm still going to. And then Pharaoh takes control. Now, the issue with SIG is they're very racist. We were, there was several times where me and my R4s would go in there, and oh my god, they'd have markers saying the N-word. No shit. All the kings did it, except Cat. He was the only cool one. And they'd sit there and they're like, oh dude, we should force people down to the ground. And yeah, I wish I could censor what I'll say, but it starts with an R and ends with an E. They were very bad people. And Kingdom 3532 became the most dead kingdom alive. Like, to the point BLO was the most active than the whole King of Family. Like, if I joined all 3 of these alliances, you'll see like 100 days on some of them. And we later on, we were tasked to do KVK, and the issue is we usually don't want to build in like zones where like we're fucking pinned. And we lost every KVK. And if you don't know my live stream, we were literally in Zone 5, and we literally lost it in about 2 days. And SIG did nothing. They were as useful as a fucking cranberry out of the fucking wilderness. As useful as that. BLO would later on be tasked, not too long ago, to migrate forcefully. Now, if we didn't, they would send Saya, and we didn't have a kingdom to go. What's this? Just his farmers. I was going to say, I could just go quickly get on an account, go kill Pharaoh's troops. But this is, some of the BLO users, but this is the motherfucker who thinks he's so tough. They changed us to down to die. Well, more like down to fucking doomed to fail. Down to be failures, honestly. And I have diss tracks, and I'm going to post them all sometime soon. But the history of BLO is one of the coolest things, and I'm kind of glad that we're still around, and we're in a brand new kingdom. Much better kingdom. And we're gonna actually make our own alliance at some point. And I'm glad Shield and Bro let us in. Really cool guys. As you can see, I dropped in power, which I don't care too much about. But BLO, it was a tough ride. I will say that. Like, I won't ever say it wasn't tough. Like, doing things the way SIG wanted. They're like, oh, you guys are dead weight. But the issue is, we're so dead weight, but yeah, we're beating the shit out of a King Alliance. Ex-King Alliance. Like, these guys, I rallied and I won. Each one. It's truly just sad that Kingdom 3532, it's a C seed, but yet can't do anything for KVKs. They have no stars. And BLO has a King Alliance that does. Actually, 3 King stars. That is what truly saddens, or like, a lot of people. And if you think that's it, no, they also sent, apparently from what I've been informed, they sent photos of minors to one another, Pharaoh and them, and it's like, ew, is this new? I don't think so. BLO will be in Victoria, and we will have a Spartan type way again, and we will continue to do what we do best, called fucking around. And I hope this kingdom does as well. And yeah, no, it's sad, but if the diss tracks get launched, which they will, I'm not gonna hesitate, I'll launch them. Like, the songs are pretty decent. I'll probably put it even in the end of this video for you guys to listen to. But BLO is no longer in Kingdoms 3532, and I don't think we're ever going to even try to talk to 3532. And if we see them in KVK, we'll tell their allies that they're pedophiles, and they are, from what I've seen and heard. And the way they treat others is just so poorly. It's like really bad. So if you're from Rise of Kingdoms, you should honestly just avoid that kingdom. If you see them as allies, also avoid them. Like, there's no point in trying to be friendly with them because they're just gonna betray you, and they can't win for shit. Their KP's ass, and they're all dead weight. Most of their alliance is farms, like a huge chunk is. They got decent power, I'll say that, but they're not strong, and they're snakes. Like, you could say, oh, I'll migrate in about a day, and they'll be like, oh no, you got like 12 hours, you got like 10 seconds, good luck. And that's what's sad. But BLO is now going to be the second alliance, and we're part of the council. Something SIG can't even do. Like, we have a better, like, council in this kingdom than SIG does. SIG's council is so ass that you could probably zero one of their farms and they won't care. Like, rogues are allowed to run around freely in Kingdom 3532. So, if you guys like the video, subscribe. Yes, the thumbnail is probably AI, and I do not give a fuck. I really don't. But I hope you guys enjoy. This is Gatling, and we're gonna be posting new videos in this kingdom, in the new BLO in Victoria. We'll be in, I don't know what this says. Camisha? You know what? I'm gonna call it Cam. I'm gonna call it Zone Cam. And we'll have one in Blaze. So we'll have like territory pretty much everywhere. So it's nice. We're better. And SIG, if you're watching this, I hope you guys can finally get a star for once, because the destructs are not gonna look good on you. Gatling out.
Why, look at this. Pharaoh changed up the name from SIG to DTF. Down to fight more like Doom.